Utah. Alright, so we got, don't want to hit no heads. We got to figure out the translation, and so we have some translations. So translation means it's moving. It's going to go up, down, left, right. So that means things are going to be added. Add a negative, add a positive. So to go from this number to this number, we're going to be adding to it or subtracting, right? And then there's there's translation, and then there's dilation, right? And dilation means it's going to be multiplied or divided, right? Multiplied by a fraction. So I'll multiply some number to get to that number. Then there's going to be a reflection. A reflection, and then rotation. These two are very similar, and so I'll explain those. So reflection, of course, is that we're going to reflect it across the y-axis, right? So this point, say 1, 2, 1, right? This point would reflect this way, and it would become a positive 1, but still say, or let's go 1, 2, right? So it could become a positive 1, but still stay a positive 2, right? Or it could go reflect this way, right? And it would go down to 2, and it would become a negative 2, but stay a negative 1. So in this case, right, we take a look at this, negative 1, 2, or 1, 2, right? What happens is the x's change. But what happens here is that the y's change, right? And so that tells us if it's a reflection. So we look at this and we go, did the y's change or did the x's change? Right? The y's changed, right? So the y's changed, so that means that this is a reflection across the x-axis. So we call this a reflection across the x-axis. You had a question?
I was going to say, do we have to write down the graph and everything, or if it's too fast?
Well, I think if you want to remember it, then
Yeah, I would draw something like this down. Now you don't have to. I just made numbers up, right? But it gave me an understanding, right? Now with rotation, it'd be a little different. With rotation, what happens is it rotates 90 degrees, right? And the cool thing about rotation would be these rotate, right? So then the x becomes the y, and the y becomes the x, and then one of them becomes the opposite, right?
Oh, like negative.
Yeah, because like if I go this way, right, I'm rotating this way, and that would be 2, negative 1, so that would be 2, negative 1, right? And so that rotates it around, and that's called a 90-degree rotation. Okay? And then if I go this way, it would be the same thing. Now, what happens here is rotation.
it's a rotation.
Because like if I want to rotate, say this,
It's a rotation.
let's say like this, right? If I rotate this, then this becomes this, right? This 1, 1 becomes 1, 1. This is 2, what was this?
I literally don't know how to write down a graph.
This is 2, negative 1. So 2, negative 1. And 1, 1 still is 1, 1. And then 3, negative 3, 1 becomes 1, negative 3. Right? And see how that rotated around 90 degrees? Okay. Now, I think one of them changed. I thought one of them changed.
I'm losing a sock again. I'm sucker
Ah.
staying on.
Look at the sock. So the cool thing you'll notice about rotation is that when they rotate, they switch, and I'm pretty sure one becomes negative, the other one becomes positive, right? And then when they switch again, well, they just go back to the original.
Am I blocking your
No,
view?
no, no.
Right.
I'm so sorry.
So 90 degrees, and then 180 degrees, you would be, so only one changes. If you go in the X direction, one will change. So that's what it is. So positive 90,
Walking it past that.
so one of these would change, and then if you go in the other direction, the other one would change.
I know this is a high school classroom.
Right? So, and then if you get it again, it would be, so since this one changed, this one would change again, so that would become 6 and negative 2, which is basically the opposites, right? And this changed again, it would be 2, negative 2, 6, which ends up being the same. Because if we do negative 90 degree rotation or 90 degree rotation, once we get to 180, they would be the exact same, right? And so now we have to think which one is positive rotation, which one's negative rotation. So if we're taking this and doing this and changing the X, right? Then which one do we end up with? Well, we end up with, if we were to do it to this one, this would become 2, and we changed the Y, right? Yeah. So 2, negative 1 would become a positive 1, so it would be 2, 1. So that would be a 90 degree rotation in the negative direction. Because this is negative, whereas this is positive, right? So this is what we call a negative rotation, 90 degrees, and this is a positive rotation. Because the one thing we have to remember is positive rotation goes this way, that's positive. As if we were going, really? Talking too much? And then negative rotation goes that way because we're going down. Okay? Yeah, what's up? Is that enough? Is that enough math? What? Is that enough math? She's like, what? Tell this boy to shut up.